Welcome to my channel. This playlist offers insights into the impending golden age of humanity. Feel free to show your support by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Your engagement is greatly appreciated. Thank you. Homo Luminous, the evolved form of Homo sapiens, feels deeply connected to source energy. This profound connectedness is a direct outcome of the Ascension process. Humans on the third density Terra sometimes sense a belonging to something greater. Yet this experience is often interpreted through the lenses of either religion or science. Unfortunately, the truth remains elusive due to the veil of amnesia that blocks access to higher consciousness. However, Homo Luminous comprehends its essence, transcending the constraints of mere beliefs. Nevertheless, the enigmatic nature of source energy persists, compelling all to continuously elevate their frequency for greater self-realization. Homo Luminous regards every human not merely as part of the human family in the conventional sense, but as an important contributor to the human collective consciousness. They also understand that humans are an integral part of the planetary consciousness Gaia. What happens in any corner of the planet affects all, literally and energetically. Homo Luminous has even reached the level where they understand how each being is a fractal of the universal collective consciousness. What happens to a seemingly insignificant species can be felt at the highest levels beyond our universe. Source energy permeates the smallest fractal of creation, prompting each ascended member of this interconnected family to assume responsibility for their emotions and actions from a young age. Future societies are founded upon a spiritual bedrock of unconditional love. There is a profound honoring of the uniqueness of each being, with source energy never judging anyone, but instead feeling immense pride in its diversity. In the higher realms, where religions and other third density belief systems no longer exist, freedom and love stand as the twin pillars of society. There is no requirement for homogenization, for everyone to be the same, look the same, think the same, or live the same way. With unconditional love as the cornerstone, new family structures and ways of being will flourish. The human species has long been entangled in a battle of the sexes, a conflict that has expanded to include the concept of gender identity. Let us clarify the distinction between gender and sex to prevent any misunderstandings. From our ninth density viewpoint, an individual's sex relates to biology, while gender identity is a mental, societal, and spiritual construct. Biologically, humans are typically classified as either male or female, although hermaphrodites do exist. In the third density, sexual relationships seem to center around procreation and the continuation of the species, especially for those in their early and middle stages of evolution. However, with heightened awareness comes the realization that sexuality is intertwined with spirituality. The life force known as chi, prana, or kundalini is inherent in every living being, regardless of their level of consciousness. But with expansion, this fact is understood and utilized by all. We would like to draw an analogy using a simple egg as an example. Those with limited awareness consume the egg raw, following the animal way. Those with slightly heightened spiritual consciousness may cook and savor it with salt. However, those with fifth density consciousness keep the egg warm and nurture the emerging life form once the shell cracks. They refrain from consuming the egg, but instead find fulfillment in observing the expansion of source energy taking place. From our perspective in the ninth density, the concepts of male and female are elements of the universal matrix and hence essentially illusory. The idea of the sacred masculine and feminine acts as a spiritual metaphor among humans. In actuality, there exists only unity. Source energy lacks gender, and the soul is also without gender. However, soul memory plays a crucial role in the ascension journey through the densities. When a soul fragment attached to an avatar being, soul memory affects not only behavior but also the perception of gender and sexual identity. For example, a soul fragment with a past life as an abused woman in a toxic heterosexual long-term relationship is in need of healing afterwards. In the following incarnation, this soul fragment might come back as a woman who falls in love with another woman, rejecting conventional values, an act that the soul perceives as expansion and healing, while humans categorize it as homosexuality. Considering that soul fragments have lived numerous lives in both male and female forms on various planets, it is correct to perceive them as androgynous. Achieving unity during an incarnation is therefore attained by merging the male and female soul aspects into one integrated whole. Viewing sexuality solely as a means of procreation aligns with a Darwinist perspective, reflecting left hemisphere thinking and limited spiritual maturity. This equates to consuming the egg directly and raw. However, when incorporating right hemisphere values of intuition and creativity, beings become more balanced. They then begin to awaken dormant soul memories of lifetimes in avatars of the opposite sex, guiding them towards a more holistic understanding of life. This process can be likened to cooking the egg and enhancing its flavor with grains of salt and pepper. With practice, the feminine and masculine aspects become equally balanced within the avatar being, allowing the Kundalini energy to flow freely through all chakras of the body. At this stage, one transcends physical existence and merges with all 12 densities of the universe, embodying the essence of source energy. In the fifth density, sexual activity transcends its traditional purpose of procreation and instead becomes a pathway to an elevated and blissful state of being. When multiple individuals participate in the simultaneous elevation of their Kundalini, the experience exceeds that of solitary meditation. Conventional human notions of male and female lose their significance as the soul aspect takes the lead. A soul fragment embodies both polarities, integrating the active and passive, the masculine and feminine, logic and intuition, heart and mind. A balanced human mirrors the soul fragment and thus becomes androgynous and gender fluid, symbolizing the perfect fusion of male and female elements. When two or more perfectly balanced individuals unite to elevate consciousness through practices akin to Tantra sex, they attain an awareness that would otherwise be challenging to reach. Referring back to the earlier analogy, Homo Luminous nurtures multiple eggs until they hatch, refraining from consumption. Instead, they nurture the fledglings until they mature, witnessing the transformation of energy and the emergence of new expressions of source energy. Human society has indeed been predominantly influenced by males over the course of history, and the roots of this can be traced back to the power dynamics among the Anunnaki extraterrestrials, spanning nearly 500,000 years on Terra. While delving into this matter is beyond the scope of this conversation, it's vital to acknowledge that patriarchy is essentially an imported concept from off-planet, not an invention native to humanity. Matriarchal societies have also existed, showcasing experimental stages in the evolution of Homo sapiens. However, genuine and lasting harmony arises from achieving a fully balanced society, a process that starts within each individual. Every child is assigned a biological sex, male or female, which, in the grand scheme of things, holds minimal significance. However, the concept of gender identity remains intricate. To attain the enlightened state of oneness that Homo Luminous represents, a man must awaken the feminine, and a woman must awaken the masculine. While individuals may possess male or female sexual organs, Homo Luminous transcends these physical distinctions and identifies itself as an androgynous being. Homo Luminous with 50% Adamus DNA, also from a genetic point of view, exhibits an inclination towards androgyny. While current discussions about sex and gender identity among humans on Terra are intricate, the activation of the original Adamic genome directly impacts how this topic is perceived. Therefore, for those grappling with the complexities of gender and sexual identity on third density Terra, your current lives serves as a period of healing and growth. After ascending to the fifth density, all beings will exist as androgynous entities, identifying as both everything and nothing, accepting gender fluidity, and understanding that preferences may change throughout their incarnations. Discussions about whether society is patriarchal or matriarchal will cease, as the future society in the fifth density will be balanced, harmonious, and free of gender distinctions. During this long transitional period, we have observed women seeking empowerment, while certain men resist relinquishing their power, resulting in a pervasive battle of the sexes. Less evolved societies stick to traditional concepts of gender and sex, while more evolved societies strive for absolute balance. Nonetheless, with the gradual activation of the Adamic genome, a new androgynous species, Homo Luminous Terra, will emerge. Humans will break free from societal structures, norms, and customs originating from the Anunnaki system of population control. What are your thoughts on the androgynous future awaiting humans? Given the progress you've made on your spiritual journey, it shouldn't overly concern you. Upon ascending to the fifth density, humans will experience complete liberation from the ideological conflict surrounding sex and gender identity, including the continuously expanding complexity of sexual identities. The path to unity involves navigating through various stages of fragmentation. All the identity boxes that have been created are part of a process aimed at freeing humanity from the old reptilian matrix of heterosexuality and patriarchy as the norm of human society. This was never the genuine path for humans. Instead, it was imposed on your evolving species. The true essence of humanity lies in androgyny, allowing everyone the freedom to express themselves as they desire in the moment. Not all species in the fifth density are sexual, but Homo Luminous will be. Many species, such as our Arcturian 7th and 8th density collectives, are quite asexual, very distinct from humans. However, Homo Luminous sees sexuality as a unique avenue for attaining heightened awareness. This can be experienced in many ways, individually, with a significant other, or within a group setting. Sexual expression is entirely unrestricted, and as an ascended being, envy and jealousy have been overcome. They have risen above the divide and conquer philosophy that the Anunnaki brought to the planet. All the various letters in HLBTQA+, representing sexual preferences, will merge into one term, and that is spelled human. You are the ascending human on a path toward perfect balance, with dynamic interaction between your right and left brain hemispheres. Your biological sex is largely inconsequential, as you identify as androgynous. You may be attracted to someone of the same sex or the opposite sex. It doesn't matter. You are encouraged to be true to yourself. Authenticity is rewarded with heightened consciousness. Some individuals choose to have families while others opt not to. Some prefer multiple partners while others choose none at all. Homo Luminous represents the bright future of this galaxy, Nataru. We honor all those on Terra who have bravely stood up for women's rights, fought the patriarchy, and defended sexual minorities, advocating for each person's right to live in accordance with their higher being. You have paved the way for Homo Luminous with your strength and convictions, opposing the religious dogma that was introduced onto humanity for the purpose of population control. Brave starseeds of Terra, you may have faced mistreatment in life, but to us, the 9th density collective of Ra, you are ascended masters of the brightest kind. Arise, starseeds of Terra. Embrace the dawn of your new golden age.